everyone's on cue now. He's in a rhythm. So, insulin. So we've talked about that. Natural hormone produced when the spike in blood sugar appears. In a normal metabolism, elevated blood glucose makes the pancreas release insulin into the blood. This is called the revision part of the presentation, right? Where you guys, if you missed it the first time, because of my accent, you now have it written on the wall. Right? The insulin, in turn, makes insulin-sensitive tissues in the body, e.g. muscle, fat, but also organs, absorb the glucose in the blood, from the blood, I should say, thereby lowering the blood glucose level. Alright, easy. Everyone's got that. Leptin. Produced by fat cells, received by the brain. So if I were to not eat for a while, here's what happens. Start getting hungry. Body senses that there hasn't been any energy coming in a while. Fat cells stop sending leptin to the brain. Brain goes, wow, no leptin. Now, what's interesting is, people who have metabolic syndrome and are insulin resistant, also, 100% of the time, are leptin resistant. Which one came first? Research is still trying to figure it out. But if we know that, then we can know that, you know what, if I want to get to my optimal weight and know exactly what to eat and make good decisions about what I eat, then I want to master these hormones. Fat cells stop sending leptin to the brain, leptin drops below personal leptin threshold. This is part of, right here, this is an important part to know why some people can make good decisions all the time, and some people cannot. This is where I would say the genetic component of it comes in. Because some people have a high leptin threshold, and they have to eat a lot to feel full. Some people have a low leptin threshold, eat a small amount, and they go, you know what, I'm good. Or I can control it from here. Some people, they eat a certain amount, which is the right amount for them to eat, but their leptin says, you know what, I'm not responding. I'm not here for you just yet. Leptin drops below personal. Brain senses starvation. Food perceived as more rewarding, anxiety, large amounts increases. Over time, now, if I have low leptin levels, okay, so not so low that it senses starvation, but my leptin levels are low. So not so much that it makes me hungry. But in turn, if my blood sugar levels are low, then my body can happily cruise away the fat. Okay, so my blood sugar is slightly below that homeostatic level. My leptin is slightly below, but not so much that I get stimulated to eat a whole bunch of food. I feel hungry, I get that panic that I've got to eat. But what happens is, over a period, it depends on the individual, the more you are overweight, the longer it takes to kick in, because the more you are overweight, the more insulin/leptin resistant you probably are. So, the key thing you need to remember is, if my leptin isn't working right, then it's not going to tell me when I need to eat, it's not going to tell me when I'm hungry. But what happens is, basically, if the leptin doesn't react, then I don't know when I need to stop. So I'll keep eating. So I need to master that leptin. Over time, metabolism slows in an effort to make do with the amount of fuel that is being given. And this is the key part, refeeding, which is going to be principle one. If you can eat on any diet you choose, any lifestyle choice you make, whether you say, I want to be vegan and eat low calorie here, or I want to do the Atkins, which ends up being usually lower calorie, you say, I want to count calories, or here's a diet that I found in Us Weekly that I'm really into. Okay? At this point, I'm going to say, if you don't like the options I present to you today, then know that if you eat a low-calorie diet for a certain period of time, between 6 days to 14 days, then there is a key thing you must do, which is refeeding. This is the part that I'm going to put first, so everyone can get really excited about it. Good, John? Play on me. Leptin and refeeding. What I'm going to propose is that the research shows that if you have a reward meal every 6 to 10 days, and I'm going to say for everyone in this room, every 6 to 14 days, I'm going to say for everyone in this room, if we made 10 days the goal, then what you can do is actually eat a lower calorie diet, and then once every 10 days, I'm not going to say you can, I'm going to say you should eat a big old reward meal. And I'm going to say combine that with a workout. Combine that with an intense workout, and then know you're going to go out and you're going to go to Rodizio's, a new restaurant that opened up recently, where it's like, you know, they come around with big skewers, and would you like some chicken, would you like half a cow, stuff like that, and just put it right in there on your plate. Okay? Or you say, you know what, I want a pizza. Have a pizza. Can you believe that the words coming out of my mouth are, have a pizza. Alright? But that's what we're talking about, that leptin boost. What I want to do is basically keep that leptin right there, and basically leptin's going to go pow. Now what will happen is things will all of a sudden be mixed up. My metabolism will go from starting to drop down to all of a sudden up high. And my body will adjust. Maybe I'll gain a pound the next day. But the end result will be less weight. And also, you will psychologically, talk about psychological, mental and physical, psychologically you will say, you know what, I know it's 10 days to my next one, so sure Jake, you can have that piece of chocolate cake sitting in front of me. I know that I've got a good meal coming. I know when I had the last one, and I know that was exactly what I wanted, and I ate it, and I didn't have to have an ounce of conscience. Right? How many of us have eaten something that we shouldn't have eaten, and afterwards we're like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that. Feel crappy about ourselves, and then we go back and have it again. Right? That's what we're doing. So here's how it's going to work. Leptin and refeeding. If you're eating lower calorie diet, okay, or slower carb diet, which I'm going to get into, then it's important that you have some sort of a reward meal. And by reward meal, I mean you don't have to have just one meal. I'm talking about like have 2 or 3. You've got a 5-hour window following that workout where your body will say, hey, there's a whole bunch of energy coming in, quick. You know, back down the hatches, pull the oxygen, let's go. It'll switch on the whole system, your metabolism jumps up, and the end result is your metabolism will be high for long enough that it will overcome any energy deficit that you have right there. You guys excited about that? It's kind of nice, yeah. See? It's all worth it right now, right? You're like, yes, okay, I'm in it. So possibly accept the 1 to 2 pound gain of fat for a day or 2 following. Part of this will be water weight, part of this will be retention, because your body will say, hey, you know what, I've been eating real clean, there's no water weight. Water weight is something that happens to our body when we eat things that our body has a slight allergic reaction to. The fancy way to say it is the body's solution to pollution is dilution. Meaning that if you've ever gotten stung by a bee or something like that, it swells up. Brittany's trying not to laugh at me right now. She's like, it sounds way too cheesy, Jeremy. I know. Normally I'm a tell how this kind of guy. So right now, if you imagine if I eat something that my body has a slight reaction to, I may not feel sick, I may not feel queasy, but we've all seen when some people will eat shellfish and they'll just have a reaction, and what happens to them? They puff up, right? Their body's trying to basically absorb as much water as it can to try to reduce the concentration of the toxin that's in the body. If I have a slight reaction to it, maybe I have a slight reaction to wheat, I will retain water. So until the body can get rid of that wheat. But if I'm eating a nice clean diet and then bam, jumping up, I may retain some water, maybe a little bit extra fat. And there's key things I can eat as well that will affect how much fat gets retained. But perform every 1 to 2 weeks, depending on the amount of fat to lose. Net effect is increased metabolism, significantly more fat loss over the course of time until the next refeed. If you keep doing this, you'll find that you will get to be as lean as you want to be.